Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, May 29, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Holders of Vincentian passports are now allowed to travel visa-free to 26 countries of the Schengen zone. This country's Foreign Affairs Minister in Parliament yesterday said the agreement was signed on May 28th and explained that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has now joined 50 other countries that share the privilege of being able to enter the Schengen zone for a period of up to 90 days without the requirement of a visa.
Zone, Mr. Speaker, as honourable members are no doubt aware, involves 22 European Union states, those states being, there's 26 countries in total. Those countries being Austria, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. We also, as most members of most citizens are aware, already enjoy the ability to enter the United Kingdom without a great deal of impediment.
Minister Gonsalves says the visa waiver agreement is part and parcel of the policy of SVG to maximize the number of reciprocal visa waiver agreements that allow Vincentian passport holders to travel throughout the world with as little administrative difficulties as possible.
We recently signed a similar agreement signed similar agreements with the South American nations of Brazil and Uruguay. Mr. Speaker, I am advised that the agreement, the visa waiver agreement, is effective upon signature, meaning it is effective now, but authorities from the European Union have advised that in the month or so after signature there may be some administrative hiccups, there may be some airlines that have not been notified, there may be various border points because the Schengen area is so large and has so many points of entry. There may be some hiccups with this or that immigration officer or computer or what have you that has not been updated.
Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Minister said the authorities of the Schengen area have indicated that there may be a few hiccups in the immediate aftermath of the signing of the agreement.
People traveling to the Schengen zone in the next few weeks should first contact the embassy of the country through which they intend to enter the Schengen zone and the airline that they plan to use to enter the area to make sure that everything has been sorted out administratively. But from a legal perspective, the visa waiver is now in effect. The Schengen waiver, Mr. Speaker, honourable members, is the culmination of a rather lengthy process. I know that officials in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have been receiving calls for a number of months asking when will the Schengen visa waiver take effect. Of course, this is a bilateral process between St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, it's more than bilateral, it's multilateral, because there are a number of countries in the Schengen zone and the European Commission had to pronounce on a number of areas, and we were entering this visa agreement with other countries that had similar applications and they wanted to do all of them at the same time. So there were some delays, but the process is now complete.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves in Parliament today made a plea for persons here to desist from what he describes as damning the character of the parliamentary representative for Central Kingston, St. Clair Leacock, because of his association with the embattled Trinidadian politician Jack Warner. Though no member of the opposition New Democratic Party was today present in Parliament, Prime Minister Gonsalves told the House that there is no need to partake in certain kinds of character assassination, which sometimes flow from falsehoods and innuendos. Dr. Gonsalves says while listening to the radio this morning, he heard more than one reference about Sinclair Leacock being the partner of Jack Warner. However, Dr. Gonsalves says damning someone by an association is absolutely wrong.
You may have a friend, but if a friend is accused of something, what that makes you? And we have to just resist the temptation in issuing these damning things. I mean, as I say, if you meet him and you say, boy, I see your partner is in some trouble in Trinidad, but to use it as a stick with which to beat by innuendo the member for Central Kingston is plain wrong. And I'm urging all persons to desist from that sort of a thing. We have a candidate in Central Kingston, and I would like to see him win and not the current parliament representative, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out of your way to damn a person in that way.
Dr. Gonsalves says there is absolutely no need to go down such route to study the competitive politics of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the name of the country as a whole.
It is said metaphorically that politics is a blood sport, but for heaven's sake, we mustn't take that metaphor literally and try and draw blood. I mean, it's just wrong. And if we do that, we are shaming our civilization. As I have said more than one occasion, we have a rich history of pecan. You know, and you throw a joke and so on, you move on, and it's episodic, and sometimes you maybe even regret that you throw the particular pecan. But you don't let it be constituting a central thrust. What we should be talking about is our competing visions for the country, our achievements thus far, what we are currently doing, what we intend to do for the country in the future, and the men and women of ability whom we have to proceed to deliver that.
Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Industry, Saboto Caesar, says despite some setbacks, there are still significant opportunities for the growth and development of the local agricultural industry. Speaking at the opening ceremony of a training workshop in the production of composite breads and bakery products using grated cassava and sweet potato, the Agriculture Minister says that this exercise is a step in the right direction. As part of increasing local staples consumption, the Caribbean Business Association, CABA, has been working with public and private sector entities to produce a range of value-added chilled, frozen and shelf-stable staples aimed at local, regional and extra-regional markets. These products include French fries made from cassava, sweet potatoes, eddos and plantain for the fast food industries, chilled and frozen, ready-to-cook and pre-cooked pieces for side dishes in households and restaurant industries, and grated and pureed products for bakery and beverage industries. Adding that there are many benefits for St. Vincent and the Grenadines from the production of these products, Minister Caesar pointed out that the right environment must be present to harness these opportunities.
Significant opportunities for growth and development in this country. Significant opportunities. But sometimes we are not looking in the right direction. And I want to encourage us that if we are to grow and advance ourselves as a people, we have to ensure that we have the requisite enabling environment to harness these opportunities and possibilities as they arise.
Caesar further urged Vincentians to appreciate how far the local agriculture industry has come and how well the farmers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are able to overcome obstacles.
We have to be a solution-oriented and a solution-driven people. And whenever we are faced with what appears to be a roadblock, we have to always consolidate our knowledge and look beyond our obstacles. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are the largest exporter of root crops in the OECS. We are also the largest exporter of cattle in the OECS. We produce the most expensive starch in the entire world. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our root starch is retailed at $50 per pound. We have extremely fertile soils, and we have an increasingly trained labor force.
CESA further urges those who will be involved in the production of these products to always put their best with regards to their preparation, adding that no matter how good the idea of any project is, no one is willing to support it if it is not desirable to the public. 22 health workers graduated with certificates in leadership and management and health through the Global Health Department of the University of Washington. The 10-week online course addressed areas such as managing people in healthcare, public health environment, among other administrative-related work. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Louis Deschamps, says the government will continue to partner with other stakeholders to ensure that the human resource capacity in the civil service is developed. Deschamps congratulated the participants for being open to learning and encouraged them to use what they have learned to improve the environment in which they work.
That we also concentrate our efforts on building capacity in a bid to achieve and build on our goals. I would wish, however, to emphasize the need to develop leaders within any organization with the understanding that leadership must be shared if we are to achieve any level of success. Leadership, ladies and gentlemen, must not be a matter only for the head of an organization. And this is why in our ministry, we continue to engage staff in relevant programs designed to have them achieve personal and professional growth and development, given that it can only redound to the benefits of the ministry and the citizens of our blessed land.
Dr. Dale Hamilton of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment gave an overview of the courses taught in the program.
The importance of recognizing the team, working with the team you are given, and leading from the back. During week 3, the topic supervising and delegating were explored. Participants learned how to be more effective in delegating work, supervising others, and how to make a difficult conversation more productive. Some areas reviewed were performance evaluation, correcting performance problems, strengthening listening skills.
Delivering the keynote address at the graduation exercise was Reverend Adolph Davis, who told the healthcare workers that through teachings of the Bible, it has been pointed out that while a good manager would take care of his one talent, a good leader would ensure that he increases his talents. Reverend Davis encouraged the 22 awardees to use their knowledge to affect change.
There's a sense in which their primary governing principle is to some extent institutional, is to maintain status quo, is to ensure things are kept well. Or you can understand your training and the intention from the training to be one where leadership is the governing principle and management is a tool of that process of leadership. And so implied in your self-understanding and the understanding of the program is that you are critically trained, equipped, empowered to go somewhere, not just to maintain things, and not just to ensure that programs are executed, but there's a sense of destination, there's a sense of purpose, there's a sense of journey.
He further pointed out that good leadership encompasses the ability to take instructions as well as to delegate.
Certification is not intended to establish a more elite group of health professionals, but there is a fundamental principle in which one must understand, if leadership is understood well, that good leadership entails and involves good fellowship, good servant spirit and good servanthood. Leadership is in fact most effective when those who are in positions of leadership understands the relationship with servanthood. A good leader must first be a good follower or a good servant. If you cannot function under authority, you will not do well in authority. If you're not good at taking instruction and guidance, you will be the worst at giving instruction and guidance.
74-year-old Edwin Jack of Richland Park has been recorded as this country's 8th homicide for the year and the 4th in days. According to his nephew Anson Davis, around 5 p.m. yesterday, May 28th, an argument ensued over his uncle's dogs urinating on produce belonging to the girlfriend of a family member. Davis says he left the area only to be told by his daughter around 8 p.m. that his uncle was stabbed to death and his brother Wilfred Davis was at the hospital with a stab wound as well. Davis says although he was not there when the incident occurred, he is of the belief that family land distribution also played a role in the argument.
So there was some sort of dispute over the animals urinating on the produce. Yeah, so I don't know how my brother get in because my brother lady, she had told them wrong, so I can't see how my brother get in between that. If we say get between that, we madam into because he's uncle and he's away free of charge. And I've been able to feel and up to now, you know, this have given me my part. So I never all that come from that.
The farmer says he is disturbed by the way his uncle was killed.
How many stabs your uncle got?
Well, I don't know because after when the police come, then thing replace it, nobody carry their own. So then the only police could say who stabbed him because they don't want nobody go to him because when we reach him, police be not reach him from Mespo. And afterward, they say nobody can go and make it worse when them fan tongue come, nobody else can go. So we can say if you get 5, if you get 6, we can. But I can plenty get better.
So when you came and when your daughter informed you that he was hurt, he was already dead?
Yeah, he done that already. Because when we come and we look for the same, but we never close, he done that. Because one of my sons, he done kick off before me reach. Before me reach, so.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel sad because he's nice to me. Because if you get anything not good for give to me. And my daughter name, he makes sure we get anything I call him and give them to them. So I feel sad, but you know, I can't do that. I have to try to cope with that.
The matter is now in the hands of the police. 2 students of the Mountain View Adventist Academy are warning others to refrain from engaging in a game that has been causing quite a stir among students here called Charlie Challenge. Reports are that yesterday a female 3rd form student of the school appeared to be demon-possessed after playing the game, which involves pencils and the summoning of the name Charlie. 1st form student Andre Maloney, who witnessed the students' upheaval, says after playing the game, she began rolling on the floor and teachers had to pray and read the Bible to her to get her settled. He says he and other pupils were startled by the 3rd form student's behavior and they also began to pray to help her.
I heard the screaming. When I look outside, everyone look outside. It was the girl from Farm 2, Y. She was screaming and she was on the ground rolling. Mr. Jackson picked her up and asked her what's wrong. Then he put her inside the secretary office. She tried to fight up Jackson. After then, she pushed him and pushed Miss Williams. Then Mr. Jardine came in and tried to say a prayer. Miss Williams run outside, and then Miss Bowman came inside and tried to read the Bible. She tried to fight up Jackson. Jackson hold her down. She lift up off the floor. Then
wait, what do you mean by lift up off the floor?
She literally like float.
She floated? How far up?
Not too far up, like you could say it, a foot off the ground.
Really. A foot off.
And Jackson, with all his force and strength, push her back down on the seat, on the chair. Then, after Miss Bowman tried to pray. She started screaming out, no, no. Everyone caught the ears because they don't like to hear the girl screaming.
So she was screaming a lot.
After then, she said no, no, asking it, and she said move. When she said move.
See what move? The pencil?
Yes, miss. To yes. The next morning, her hand started shaking, and she was trembling. Then she ran outside and turned over and started screaming and rolling.
That's the next day or the same day?
Same day, miss.
Andre Maloney, along with his friend Kalik Peters, took the opportunity to warn others about playing games that have evil connotations attached to them.
And practicing these kind of demonic stuff, because they taking it for joke, but it's no joke thing. When he come and possess you for real, he cannot behavior with the girl possess is supernatural. Anybody that go happen to. So again, this is dangerous, and I advise students not to play those kind of games because they don't know the full consequence behind all of that.
Some of the younger children will like to play this game, but do not play this game. This game is dangerous. They take it for granted. Because remember, we are children, right? So we'll say everything is a joke. We don't listen to adults. Older people, we don't see things. We don't see it. We just born like yesterday. And when the older ones try to talk to us, we don't listen. We say laugh and joke. I'm not studying she. Then when we see it happen, we have to try to take responsibility.
SVG-TV News went to the school to speak to the principal on the issue, but got there after the school was closed. We also understand that there were other reports of this behavior with students who played the game in other schools across the country. The 4 bridges being built here by the Ecuadorian government is scheduled to be completed by June 23rd. This country's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Camila Gonçalves, told members of the media early today that the initial completion date given by the Ecuadorian government was June 15th, and adds that the overall project is just 1 week over the initial completion date.
I want to point out that when Prime Minister Gonçalves visited Ecuador, visited Quito, and met with the President of Ecuador to discuss this cooperation program, the initial estimate was the 15th of June. So they're less than a week off. And I hope that, I wish that all of our infrastructural projects could be completed that close to their originally estimated deadline. The bridges include, of course, the bridge at Hope, which will be the longest bridge in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a wonderful structure, and the work that the Ecuadorian people and the Army Corps of Engineers have done has been top-notch. It's been very generous. A number of Vincentians at peak, over 100 Vincentians were working with the Ecuadorians. Some of them are even speaking a smattering of Spanish, no? And at the moment we have about 40 Vincentians, because they're winding down, about 40 Vincentians that are still working with the Ecuadorian government.
Minister Gonçalves says St. Vincent and the Grenadines is yet to receive some of the aid and assistance that were pledged in the wake of the December 2013 floods, and praised Ecuador for its speedy response as the country continues with its recovery efforts. Government Senator and Minister of State in the Ministry of Transport, Works and Urban Development, Julian Francis, says evidence have shown that the improvement of road infrastructure often lead to more speeding and reckless driving, and appeals to motorists to have more control on the nation's roads. Senator Francis was at the time addressing the opening of the 7th Annual Road Safety Conference, which wrapped up here yesterday at Hotel Alexandrina.
This conference comes at a time when this country has embarked on the largest infrastructure investment portfolio ever. There is in excess of $100 million devoted to rehabilitation of infrastructure spanning 2013 to 2017. A substantial percentage of that money is being channeled to improving roads and bridges throughout the length and breadth of this country. The more you improve a road, the more you increase your speed. And sometimes I wonder why we don't leave the potholes as a safety measure. There is generally some relationship among road improvement, road usage, and vehicle accidents. In St. Vincent, over time, the roads have been improving steadily.
Senator Francis, however, pointed out that safer and more improved roads are still considered to be the best ways in aiding to reduce fatalities that occur from road accidents, and that though persons only seem to speak of road safety after an accident, road safety must be adhered to at all times.
We have to be able to manage ourselves. Individuals have to look and see what is important to us. Speed and distractions, according to Mr. Gans, are two of the things that cause accidents and take your concentration away. Alcohol, drugs. The distractions include today the modern dress of the young ladies. Very serious distractions, especially for the older men. The Ministry of Transport, Works, Urban Development and Local Government has been taking notice of these developments and is very keen to make the appropriate response towards mitigation. There is what we call hard and soft initiatives. These will of course vary from costly to not so costly. On the engineering or hard side, it is important that we continue to be very prudent in applying relevant design criteria to road development and maintenance.
And Commissioner of the RSVG Police Force, Michael Charles, says it is time for all stakeholders to come together to adopt road safety policies, not only to improve the conditions on the roads, but to make the roads safer for everyone. Commissioner Charles says the RSVG Police Force will be taking steps to ensure everyone plays their part to promote road safety.
It is our aim and focus to make road safety in St. Vincent and Grenadines an issue of concern. The time is now, and I'm extending a call to all insurance agencies, business community of St. Vincent and Grenadines to partner together and let us adopt road safety policies that can and will stimulate actions at all levels and improve the condition in the developing St. Vincent and Grenadines. The issue of road safety in St. Vincent and Grenadines has been recognized, and last year, Century came together to raise awareness and conducted a defensive driving course. I think this started the way. Today, we are hosting the 7th Regional Road Safety Conference. The Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force is happy to be integrally involved in this venture.